So here's the situation. We're out here trying to build a homestead.
Moving dirt, we're stacking wood, we're doing all sorts of projects.
Meanwhile, the kids are either helping,
which usually means relocating the exact tool I just set down.
or they're bored.
And slowly evolving to full-blown, utter chaos goblins, total feral children.
And all of that gets old super fast.
So instead of fighting that every day, we decided to build something that actually helps us out.
So it was a little bit more difficult than just going out and buying a Switch, but what we really needed was a playset.
A place where they can run, climb, burn off energy, and stay occupied long enough for us to finish a thought. And like most things around here, it starts with something used and definitely a little questionable, whatever.
So the swing set was a leftover from my daughter's high school play, and they just gave it to us, but it showed up with no instructions, completely torn apart, just a pile of elements to it, and a bunch of rusty bolts that I knew I couldn't use.
So step one was dragging everything into place and just like staring at it for a super long time. There's a very specific kind of frustration that comes from building something when your only reference is a grainy photo.
All I really had to go off of to put this whole thing together was a fuzzy, grainy picture from my daughter's play.
But I have no real clue how in the world this thing goes together. We laid it all out, started grouping parts, and worked backwards from what made structural sense. Not exactly what the original builder had in mind, just again, kinda what felt right. Some of the wood was warped, the fasteners were shot. At one point, a bolt just snapped off while I was taking it apart, which is always a real strong confidence booster that you're gonna make something safe for your children.
So we made the call, anything structural like these supports get replaced, and then anything mostly cosmetic like these railings that were in good shape, they can stay and continue to look pretty.
It doesn't actually have to be pretty. If it holds together, keeps them moving, and buys us a little breathing room while we're working, it's gonna do its job.
So we started with the three main support sections. We thought this is where they would go. So we've got 3 support structures right here, and they're each connected by a platform and these cross members.
That was enough to get moving. We swapped out the bad boards, we cut a bunch of new ones, we even had to shave down some parts so that the hardware that came with it could actually fit onto it, because for some reason, the people that designed this thing used like odd-sized dimensions, so you had to buy wood from them and not just from Home Depot, and I reject that entirely. But then came the monkey bars. They look simple. They look like really simple, but they are not simple. They're heavy, they're awkward, and require a level of coordination I just don't have anymore. But after enough adjusting, lifting, and just a general stubbornness that has fueled me through life thus far, we finally got them in place.
And that was the turning point for the whole project. Once these monkey bars got up, it actually started to look like a play set, and we got to start having some fun. At a certain point, Ryan had a very good question. How does he actually get all of his stuff up into the top portion, which is super critical for a 5-year-old because everything you own is super important. So we made him a pulley system so he can tow all of his stuff up here.
To make the pulley system, we just bought an assortment of stuff from Home Depot, threw some 2x4s up for a top and a bottom, and just kind of played around with it. The kids had a great time learning about the physics that actually work behind a pulley, so that is a definite win. But even after all that, it still felt like we needed just something a little more.
So we built a climbing wall.
We built a simple frame, threw on some paneling, drilled all the holes for the hand holds, tested it a few times, and that pushed this whole playset over the top. The kids are using this every single day. They love to climb. It is exactly what I hoped it would be.
At the end of the day, this playset just makes the whole homestead run smoother.
They've got somewhere to go that isn't directly in the middle of whatever we're doing. They stay busy, we stay productive, and nobody's yelling every 5 minutes because someone fell off a wood pile they weren't even supposed to be on.
And they're learning some really awesome skills and lessons along the way.
Balance, coordination, figuring things out on their own, but mostly, it's just fun.
We get more done, he has more fun, And that's really all we need here. Dude, stop biting. Stop biting. Stop biting my ear. We're trying to make a YouTube video. This is what we're gonna do. Daddy's gonna do a little bit of digging, and then I'm gonna put the shovel down. As soon as Daddy puts the shovel down, I want you to throw it over the top of your head. Just go whew, behind you, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Like that?
Rolling.
Rolling a bit early, girl.